do this. Do it like
We're gonna have to start recording everything out.
Huh?
How long is this DVD gonna be?
15-20 minutes. Basically, my personal experience from Resist was Rick and Jake, who were the original members of Resist at the time. They were called Killing with Kindness. Asked me to come along to one of their practices because they needed a second guitarist.
I'm the sweater that's been around since the start. I went to pretty much every prac since they've been there. I've done guitar for them, didn't make guitar, did bass for them, didn't make bass, then did fucking vocals for one stage there.
He wanted to go back and start just playing bass, and they wanted a vocalist, so that's sort of how I came along.
I still remember the first time that I actually heard him do vocals. We were probably 16 at the time. I used to sit next to him in English. We've been friends for quite a while.
I was playing in another band back in the day in Campbelltown. They were like a grindy death metal band that really sucked really badly.
Honestly, just in my own head, I was thinking, this guy's tiny, he's small, he has red hair. There's not a chance he'll be able to scream. When I first heard him sing, I thought, fuck.
Around the time when we recorded Gift of Sacrifice, tasting our first drink for the first time, we just wanted to record something. You see bands, like big bands that you look up to have like CDs, and we thought it'd be pretty cool to have our first CD out.
Looking back on it now, it's a bit of a shit CD, but for an 18-year-old, like we were fucking all 18. Jake was, I think, 14 at the time, so it was always a stepping stone, so we're still proud of it.
After Gift of Sacrifice, we went on to Damnation, which was, again, for our age, I think that was the next step for us.
It was a massive step for a group of guys so young to sort of come out with something that, impressed a lot of people, and a lot of people were talking about it. Huge hype around those dudes at that time.
At the time, you're young as hell. Like you only think you can do what you can do. You're only capable of. And at the time, we thought it was fucking terrific.
For our age, again, it was a stepping stone, and I'm really glad that we did that CD because, again, it put Resist on the map, allowed us to start touring and build a name for ourselves.
We were asked to play with All Shall Perish on their Australian tour. We all were a big fan of them. I remember Connor showing me when I was about 15, saying, listen to this band, and he was sort of the older guy.
He used to live around the corner from me, so I've known him since he was a kid. Met Reese and Tim through him. Tim used to be a massive emo, and he was good friends with my sister, so they used to hang out at the square under the tree. So I used to teach Jake, the old drummer. When he left, they asked me if I was keen just to fill in, because I was in my old band, Bermuda, at the time. Then that band sort of fell apart, so yeah, hopped on board.
So the current lineup of Resist the Thought is myself, Connor and Mitch, and Reese as well. We have had a lot of people asking us about our fifth member, Rick, who was, also one of the founders of Resist the Thought. A lot of people would know that when you do play in a band that, there are a few disagreements and there's things that happen behind the scenes. So unfortunately, he's no longer a part of the band, but we would like to thank him for all the effort that he has put in over the years.
Hello there. It's 10 o'clock on a Friday, and we're about to write a song. Because
Cool.
That's what happens.
The process of writing the CD was basically a few guitar riffs which I just had stored in the back of my head. It was kind of a mixture between whether we'd write them on the computer with a few like electronic drum tracks going to them or some loop drums or whatever.
Tim put a lot of hours into writing guitars alone by himself, buying programs and recording himself to see what sounded right, and then he'd go back if he didn't like it, and then he'd do it again. And then Connor obviously then with the drums wrote everything from scratch as well. So Connor and Tim had a big role
you know, just have jams and whatnot, throw ideas around, and he'd go home and sort of piece it all together and structure the songs and formulate them, and then I guess we'd all just sort of come together and piece it together as we went along.
What breakdown's that?
That's the one you put in there.
Oh, yeah. Is it?
Yeah. Instead of just playing it straightforward, because I was kind of... Do you want to play it again?
Yeah. I remember fucking writing down 4 words for the CD and trying to accomplish it with all the songs and the CD as a whole. I think it was brutal, melodic, heavy and fast. So that was the mission statement, that was the goal, and yeah, I think we achieved it pretty well.
I used to just rock up to prac and pretty much just listen to what the boys would write, and then yeah, they did all the hard work. I just fucking listened and.
Bands to watch, 2012. Boom.
Oh shit.
Right.
We're watching you in 2012, are you?
Watch me now.
Alright, let's go.
We recorded a single, Resurrect the Reaper, in I think around January of 2011. We kind of experimented and sent the CD over to Lambisa Studios and get him to mix and master it.
Dan Castleman mixed and mastered that song, and I think Tim got in contact with him after that, or they were in talks, and he said, well, next time you're recording, why don't you consider coming over to America? And I think we all talked about it, and we were like, well, there's seriously no reason why we can't.
If you get invited over by fucking, you know, Lambisa Studios, you're not going to say no. How you feeling, mate?
Nervous as fuck.
13-hour flight.
It's not gonna be good.
That's where we are. That's where we need to be.
14 hours on a plane, sit next to your fucking one of your band members. It's pretty annoying.
8 hours in, I couldn't sleep, so I went and had a wank.
He did have a big trip that day, so you know it was good to see him well relaxed.
We're in America. Hello.
Where are we, Connor?
San Diego International Airport.
International Airport, eh? What are you feeling, Tim? The weather's nice? It's cold?
You liking it, Harry?
Fucking loving this shit.
Harry Varoxioko.
Harry's a bald fuck.
He's this bald dude that Reese found in a bin at the airport.
He came out to the States with us. He ended up being the guy who kind of drove us around and that type of thing.
We had to get from the airport to the studio, so that's why we hired a van.
The first 20 minutes of driving was yeah, it was terrible.
Alright, so you have to stick to the rightest side of the road.
Yeah, the right side of the road.
So is that legal or what?
How are you going to turn right?
Who knows? We have no idea.
What's this moving?
Fuck, who knows? Just go it.
I'm freaking out, bro. Just doing some wine. Fuck yeah, me and the boys made it. We made it, boys.
Basically, when we first got to the studio, day one consisted of getting the scratch tracks together. We pretty much just rigged up the session with the click tracks and the scratch tracks and just started building tones for the drums.
Cool. Give it a shot.
Everything was so quick, you know, setting up, finding tones and stuff. It only took a couple of hours instead of spending a full day on it. All my gear was sort of sorted prior to going over there, so I had the exact same kit I have now over in LA as well when we went to record, so that made this sort of transition between kits super easy. I'm pretty happy with Sermon of the Damned, or maybe Impending Infiltration, only because they're two very different styles to what we normally do. Like, a lot simpler than the other stuff, but more groove orientated, which allowed me to sort of kind of do whatever I wanted, but keeping it simple at the same time, which is different for me, which I liked a lot.
Connor's the old man of the band. He's pretty serious, and he gets a little bit grumpy when he doesn't have his 10 hours of sleep.
Say photogenic.
Yeah, Adam.
He's the newest member, but he's definitely probably one of the most involved members as well, you know.
God damn, that's tight, dude.
When it come to recording the guitars, they were very rigorous, I suppose, in how the guitars come out. We kind of went through it, you know, bit by bit, even if it meant kind of splitting up some of the riffs.
You're gonna hate me, aren't you? I feel like you're just gonna absolutely despise me by the end of guitar tracking.
After this song, it's all will be right.
A lot of the stuff was quite new. We were writing all the way up until we were up in the studio, so we had to spend a little bit of time on making sure every riff and every, you know, piece of the riff was as, you know, as literally as tight as possible. I remember spending probably 30 minutes doing, you know, simple little basic tremolo riffs just to, you know, get every single note the exact same consistency and every single note the same type of hardness. Velocity.
Smelling Tim's farts, they're definitely the worst thing ever. And having people in front of you thinking that it's your fart. I think they smell really bad because he drinks a lot of milk and cheese.
Tim definitely does by far have the worst problems with his bowels. It's a smell you've never smelt before, and they get worse and worse. It's one of those smells that sort of sticks to the skin.
Is he a perfectionist? Tell us a bit about that.
Oh, shit.
That was wet, bro.
Get out
That
of
was
the room.
fucking
I'm
wet.
getting out of this room, I'm sorry.
See, this is the lactose intolerance kicking in. Yak.
I used a Fender Jazz, and it was the As I Lay Dying bass player's favourite guitar, apparently. I did enjoy using that. I didn't have to take any of my gear, which meant I could put more clothes on the way back in my bag.
What do you want me to do that? Just hold? It's gonna take away from your bend. It's gonna be you bending and me playing flat.
I've been playing in bands with Mitch since I was probably 14 years old. Since then, he's probably been in bands I've been in 95% of the time, and you know, he's just a fucking solid member who does his part really, really well.
That's some of the worst bass playing I've ever heard.
The food in America made me shit real bad. Eating all the tacos and shit like that, it was really bad. So I shit a storm and I clogged the toilet.
You're a stinky little fuck. Sorry, guys.
I clogged the toilet 2 times, I think, from the top of my head. I know a few other members clogged and broke a toilet as well. It's a good experience.
The prong.
He did a little shit, which he claims to be a huge shit. He wiped his ass fucking probably 20 times, filled the toilet up with toilet paper, and the toilet paper clogged the toilet, not his shit. So whatever he's claiming, false.
But he still broke the toilet.
Yeah, by shoving a freaking toilet roll down the thing, anyone can do that.
I messaged Jan.
What do you say?
I'll show you. Oh, good dude. One problem though. Do you have a plunger in the studio? Reese clogged the toilet. That's impressive.
How did Dan feel about you breaking his toilet twice?
He was very happy, very pleased with the outcome.
I think he was trying to one-up me. I pushed one out that would give women that are giving birth sort of like a little bit of a tingle, because this thing wasn't natural. I've showed him some photos, some personal photos of the creations I made over there, and he was very impressed with that.
He did the biggest shit by far. It was fucking huge. It was probably about that big.
This photo really doesn't do it justice, but that's the general idea of it. The bowl's about twice the size of an Australian bowl, so it was unnatural. I'm not proud of what happened, but it just proves to show that Taco Bell isn't all it's cracked up to be. So yeah, Reese is a small little man with, I don't know what he's got inside him, but it's not a small little man. He's got a very angry voice for a kid of his size, and seeing Reese from back in school, which was a little skater dude that listened to R&B. If you knew him back then, you wouldn't pick it.
Dan helped me a lot with the way that my vocals came along, especially coming from Damnation. I felt like, you know, it wasn't up to as good as what I could possibly get my vocals to sound. Well, I found out what he used on the vocals, and it wasn't, you know, much distortion or anything like that. He used 7% distortion and a compressor. Going from other studios, I know that they use a lot of effects on the vocals. So it was really cool to have my natural sounding voice on the CD, you know what I mean? I get fucking several people every day messaging me on Facebook asking me how I do vocals, and I guess it's gonna have to be a secret. I'm not gonna tell anyone. You just have to listen to the CD and guess for yourself and watch me play live. Other than that, you can think what you want to think.
You should do the second one again, but say the word come. So. What are you doing?
I'm squishing your head.
He threatens my recording process just by his presence alone.
All Shall Perish being like a band that we look up to so fucking much, having him on the album is just absolutely mind-blowing.
We toured together in November and December around Australia, and we become pretty good friends with him and that type of thing. So we actually hit Eddie up and asked him, you know, do you want to fly out and do some guest vocals on the CD? And he was more than happy to do so.
I pledge allegiance to the vile modern monarchs, denounce the throne, and set the establishment in flames.
Hearing Eddie do the talking vocal part in it seriously was the best thing. It fit the song so fucking well. To get into the studio, hear it, and think of cool ideas to add onto it was just unbelievable. Like, well, I remember just looking at each other going, is this happening? Like, this is going to be our now song. Like, it was really fucking cool.
This record is going to be one of their heavier records. I feel like they really stepped it up in the whole guitar playing and writing game, and this record's going to punish.
It's really reminiscent of European metal, which is really cool to hear over here in the States because we don't have much of that style out here anymore.
Brutal stuff, definitely like one of the heaviest records I made. I'm really stoked on it. I'm actually, like I've been telling them, I'm just really curious to hear the response on it, you know. Super talented stuff, everyone was solid. It was just too easy, the whole record, the whole process.
Dan Castleman, like I said, very easy to work with. He got the best sort of product out of us and our playing.
I remember hearing like the first cut of Sermon of the Damned, like the demo that he sent us, and I listened to it, I'm not even kidding, like I full had goosebumps. It's like, holy fuck, like I'm finally happy with something, you know what I mean? I'm proud to say like that's fucking sick, you know what I mean?
My real positive from working with Dan Castleman was that he kind of put his own personal touches into the song, and he took the album really personally, and he really wanted to make it good, not just for us but for his own sake as well. He had a point to prove, and I think it really shows in how the CD turned out.
Mitch, Charlie, San Diego Airport, going home. Bye-bye, America. Bye-bye. Walmart's not just a place. Walmart's a world of its own. When I first walked through the doors of the glorious building, we came up to a number of things. There was a coin deposit place, which was great. It was very light and bright, and had a lot of people standing there. Then the next door was the games room, which was really impressive, because I haven't actually been to a supermarket with a games room there. So that was next level. I know I'm 21, but it still was very impressive. Now the next most impressive thing was that there was also a McDonald's in there. Now you don't usually find that at your normal supermarket, but I find it's a very important role there at the Walmart store in Escondido, because not only do you get hungry and you can't eat the food before you purchase it, you walk in and you can just get some McDonald's before, and I think that's a great investment. Now you also have a lot of things. We found that purchasing cheap pretend jerseys were a good investment for us. We found a few of the Chargers jersey, which Tim found quite impressive. Obviously not real, and I think he still thinks they are, but they're not, which is upsetting. But you do have other things. You have all your clothing stores. Me and Connor invested in some great clothing. Connor bought himself a nice Leonard Skinner shirt, which was very nice, and I also bought myself a Jimi Hendrix purple hay shirt, which was, I think, suited my body tone and my size, which it's probably one of now my favourite shirts, which I will never regret. That $14.99, probably one of a very good day in the history of Mitch. There's also another thing. We found socks and undies, which were cheap. I do regret not buying a lot of socks and undies before I left, because you do run out, and you do need you do need a fair few pairs before you head back home. And now there's also another sections. I could talk about it all day, but there's sections such as your electronics sections, where you've got your USBs, your TVs, you've also got your computers, you've got your GoPros as well. Now you also do have a number of other things. You have your gun section, which was pretty interesting. We don't have that over here, which was it's good to see in a store. Also baseball helmets, sports equipment, other things such as pillows and sleeping bags were another essential. Camping gear, bow and arrows, car stereos were also there in the shop. Now you do have your other sections like your candy aisle. This was another big one for me. I found I got very excited when I saw all the colours, and I sort of got a little bit of a sugar rush, which was a great time for me. I haven't seen that much sugar in a long time, and I think I think it was one of those shops I won't regret, and I think my memories of Walmart will just stay with me, and I think everyone's gone. Fuck.